Hello there. This will be a quick video unboxing of the ASUS Prime B660M-A-D4 motherboard. This one's a 12th gen motherboard for LGA 1700. It's also a budget board. So at Amazon you could get it for $140 and also at Newegg. So good thing that these boards are now flowing to our retailers, so you could order it from Amazon and Newegg and probably other outlets too. The main difference with this Z690 and this one is the CPU overclocking, the PCIe 5, and less USB ports, which really won't impact a lot of people too much. So let's open it up. So I was initially planning to replace my old PC with this one, but I might go to the ITX build. So we'll just open it up and see what we have here and what possible builds you could do with it. Oh yeah, unlike other boards, this doesn't have a built-in Wi-Fi, so you'll probably have to get wireless card if you need that. I got this because if I resume the build that I planned for this, I won't really need a Wi-Fi anyways. So this board looks, or the box rather, looks pretty bare as expected with a budget board. So there's pretty much the SATA cables there, back plate over there, but let's go through it. Let me open this up. So right, that was the SATA connector right there. And let's get the other stuff too. We've got the back plate and the manual, which you could always get online. So I won't be reading that right now. And then this, is that the CMOS clear or some kind of a tape? Or probably for the M2, maybe a support for the M2 drive. This one at least has a heatsink too, and some more screws for probably for the M2 and or the motherboard. A CD. I'm not sure why they didn't include a USB drive instead of a CD. That would have been a better choice. I mean, who has a CD now, right? It's very rare. So yeah, that's it. It's very sparse or bare as expected. You don't need much for this board, and for the price too, I wasn't expecting a lot. So let's open the board up now. And I'm glad we have these boards coming out right now with a good price, and hopefully we'll have more versions from other manufacturers that will cover the sub 200 market. Okay, so here's the board. It's nice. It's here. We've got the heatsink, Prime B660 MA-D4 ASUS. There's a revision 1.0. So this is a DDR4 motherboard. That's why it's good. It's good that it's out now with the DDR5 prices still crazy. DDR4 is still the better memory to get for now. Okay, so this is an mATX motherboard. So it's good for compact builds and gives you the option of using a smaller case, but not as small as the ITX. And let's see here, you see the chipset heatsink, small, so it doesn't generate that much heat. If you notice, there's a big VRM heatsink on the side, but not on top. Let me get my flashlight here. So yeah, there's a VRM heatsink there, your CPU power, and the big heatsink for the VRM on the side, but the others, the one on top doesn't have any. LGA 1700. You see the 4 RAM slots here. CPU fan and CPU up, so maybe for a pump, or just a fan port with a weird name. I'm not sure. So here's the name again. Prime B660MA-D4 ASUS R1, so it's a revision 1. Then let's go up there. CPU fan, CPU up. Looks like both fan headers to me. Then you got the, of course, this is not a PCIe 5, it's a PCIe Gen 4. Not that it matters right now. There's no PCIe 5 video card or drive anyways. So yeah, the open VRM, CPU power plug. I wonder if it's a Celeron if you need that power plug anyways. So the two fan headers again, this one is clear. And then the memory port where you would start at the DIMM A2 and DIMM B2 first before you use the DIMM A1 and the DIMM B1. Then you have RGB here for those wanting to put RGB colors on their machine. Of course, the power connector to the motherboard, and then you have another fan port here, chassis fan 2. Of course, you got your USB-C for the front, and then your USB, the fast USB, the new one. I'm not even gonna try and figure out the labeling they're using for USB. So yeah, USB-C for those who use it. I don't personally, or not yet, rather. And then you have the heatsink for the chipset there. You also have your TPM, which is we don't really use because it's in the CPU anyways. You have your SATA connectors here. You have two here on the side. Then you have your M2, the second M2 over here, and then two more SATA connectors, and then the other pins for power reset. Oh, USB headers too. But yeah, your power reset, LED, and speaker connectors are here. Okay, so four. I guess you have four RGB headers. So I guess you have four SATA ports that you could use. I'm not sure if you have to share it with the M2 slot here, but basically, yeah, you have two M2s and four SATA connectors that's available for this board. And then you have the fast USB here too, or the newer USB, and the old USB ports here, two of them. Okay, so yeah, expandable. And LPT. I remember this as a printer port back in the day or some other device. I think, yeah, even I forget if I Omega would use that too. You have COM port here, SPDIF out, so sound out. So basically, this could be a work motherboard too for the or offices who uses those ports. This will be useful. And then you have the what's this? PCIe Gen 3. Okay, so PCIe X Gen 3, two of them over here and here. And then the Gen 4 is the top one. And then of course you have the M2 drive connected to the CPU with a heatsink over here. So maybe I should remove that in a bit. So this is the other one. So the first one is next to the CPU. The second one is down below. Okay, there it is. So that's where you'll put your main drive generally. It's a PCIe 4 M2 slot. And this is the the back part. So for the before installing, you should probably remove this. And before securing it well, make sure it has good connection with your drive. So for, you have a better heat transfer. So that's where the M2, the first drive is. And then you have the chassis fan here on the back part, probably good for exhaust. And I think that's it for all the fans. So this the audio chip is this one. Oh well, it's just probably a Realtek audio chip maybe. Okay, so here are the ports. So you have a HDMI and display port. Wait, no, let me get a PS2 port over here. 2, 4, 6 USB, gig LAN, and your audio ports. So that's pretty much it. This should be a good budget board, and you have these CPUs that would probably work well with it. I was initially thinking of a 12600K, but we'll see. So I'll figure it out soon when I have all the parts. Oh, and when I have time. So that's it. Hope this helps your decision.